Creepy night with my ex and his best friend. Posted by anonymous redditor. So this happened in my very first relationship. I was almost 21 at the time when I met my ex. Never had been kissed, never had been on a date. But somehow I got myself into a relationship with this guy that had helped me with studying for one of my tests a few years ago. Looking back, the relationship itself also was full of major red flags. I don't want to go into detail because that's not the point of the story. But essentially, he sometimes told me, "I wish I could rape you." Bear in mind that he first told me that a few days after I had my first time with him. He also always laughed and smiled creepily when women in movies were beaten up, murdered, or raped. When he saw such scenes, he always smiled creepily and told me, "This is a nice scene," etc. He told me he liked the look of beaten up women. I had the biggest pink-colored glasses on and thought these things were jokes. One evening when I met him, he asked me if we could meet a friend of his. I told him, of course, because I had never met any of his friends before. So we drove to his friend's flat. Everything was good. When I was there, they immediately got their shisha, some kind of water smoking device, no drugs included, and lots of alcohol ready. My ex knew that I never drank, but he begged me to do it, this one time for him, so I did. It was this kind of extremely sweet, strawberry-tasting alcohol in an extremely huge bottle. We sat and talked, smoked the shisha, and drank. Well, I drank. Recalling the night, my ex and his best friend only had one drink. But once my glass was empty, they immediately put more liquor in it and told me to drink more. I don't know why, but I did. At that time, I didn't really think about them still being on their first drink while I had already finished my third or fourth or even fifth. I was getting drunk and also feeling extremely unwell. The friend of my ex told me to take off my hoodie, which I did. Thankfully, I had a top underneath. And once I did, he complimented me on my bomb-ass body and that I should have come here dressed like that. He touched me by the neck and shoulders and tried to flirt with me while my ex was right there, still always giving me more and more liquor. I tried to get away from him, but he got closer again and tried to play with my hair. I was very uncomfortable, but already so drunk that I didn't tell him to piss off. Then, my ex and his friend got up and were talking about something in the corner of the room. My ex came back to me, and for about 30 minutes, the friend of my ex was nowhere to be seen. My ex began making out with my drunk self. He tried to undress me, but I denied, telling him that I was on my period, which was true. Once I told him that, I could see that he was upset and almost slightly angry. He got up and got his friend, talking to him again, but this time I could see that the two were looking kind of frustrated. I know that almost immediately after that, my ex and I went to my ex's flat because we were told to go. After that, I can only remember the morning. My ex told me jokingly that I had passed out right before the bed. I had the worst headache I ever experienced. I had my ex go and give me a bucket because my stomach turned and I had to puke so badly. I called my mom to pick me up. While waiting, my ex told me, sitting on the bed, that his friend would want to fuck me so badly. And again, "You know that I have the fantasy of raping you." Then my mom picked me up. When I was home, I shortly passed out in the bathroom, but after that, I recovered. My ex mentioned the things about his friend wanting to fuck me a few times after that and asked me right after if he could give him my number. A few months after our breakup, his friend sent me a message on Facebook saying that he wanted to meet me. Looking back, I'm pretty sure that those two wanted to get me so drunk that I had no more control and then both have sex with me. The only thing that got into their way was my period. It was such a creepy evening, and all the things that happened with my ex after that let me believe that. I, for example, recall a time when there was news in our country about a very drunk girl being raped by two men, and he always said, "She was drunk. They did nothing wrong. She wanted it." It's just sad that my pink-colored glasses didn't let me see that when we were still together. I should have ran away immediately after he told me first about his rape fantasies. But, on a happy note, I now have a boyfriend that treats me like I'm the most wonderful person on earth. So, thanks, period. I think I came in contact with a cult. Posted by acrobatic-battle-bot. I'm a 26-year-old female and live in the northwest of the United States, 4 hours drive above Salt Lake City. I'm going to sum this up a bit. I have religious people, mostly Mormons, come to my door from time to time. I'm always polite to them and listen to what they have to say and say no thank you at the end. Yesterday I had 3 guys come to my door. They were, I think, 16 to 18, maybe older, and wearing nice dress clothes. They stated they were Mormon and started off by stating they were trying to get a law passed to increase taxes for unmarried individuals versus married couples. I stated taxes are already higher if you're single. They asked, what do I do if I felt loved and accepted? I replied, I'm in college pursuing my bachelor's degree, and yes, I feel loved and I am not always accepted. They said they know what it's like to feel like they're not accepted and that their group could help. Their group has love, and since I'm not married, they said they could have a husband arranged for me. That I would get to pick a husband from 5 different suitors of their choosing and would never have to work a day in my life, and you will never have to be lonely again. I could just be a housewife and wouldn't have to do their 18-month recruitment as long as I produce a child within 2 years. I said I already have a significant other, and I'm not lonely, so they asked if we're going to be married within 6 months, because they could have me guaranteed to be married within the time period. I said, I don't know. That is not my decision to make, and we're content where we are. They said, well, he can also have another wife to assist with the housework so you will never be overwhelmed. I said, we are monogamous and fine with where we are. They said he could come to work for them, and he could go to trade school paid for by them. However, he would have to give 10 to 50 or 15, I could have misheard, of his income to the church to go to food banks, healthcare, and anything we would need. They said, or you could entice an outsider into joining us, but if you become married and decide to leave, you'll be cut off from the church and everyone. I said, no thank you. I'm not interested in joining your group. They said that's okay. If I wanted to join, they'll be around. My significant other told his coworker who is Mormon about it, and he said that yes, Mormons take 10% of your income to help with food banks and those in need, but nothing like that. It must be a cult. I've seen cults on TV like the Heaven's Gate cult or the crazy ones that get busted up by the feds, but I never thought I'd come in contact with one. They were holding their hands together and very persistent the entire time, just plain creepy. Is this a cult? Edit. Thank you for all your opinions and input. I can say I do think that was a cult trying to recruit naive or desperate individuals into joining a slippery slope. Also to add, I came from the Bible Belt of the South where it is mostly Jewish, Catholic, or Christian, and we listen to what someone has to say and politely say no thank you afterwards. I only know the basics about the Mormon religion from what the nice Mormons say when they come to my door. Also, my college is in a different state and is online due to the pandemic. I chose that college because it took all my credits from my AS and offers my degree rather than the colleges in this state that don't offer my specific degree field, and not all of my credits would be accepted.